So here also is what they're focusing on instead of what they're supposed to be focusing on. Oh, the secret correspondence between Donald Trump Jr. and Wiki. Oh my God! Did you hear WikiLeaks talk to Donald Trump Jr.? I don't know if you saw that, but it's like every Russian story. It starts off with a headline. Oh my God! They talk. Oh my God! Talk. And then nothing. Fucking nothing. Just like Donald Trump Jr. meets with a Kremlin-backed lawyer. Turns out it was just a fucking lawyer. Turns out that they did exactly the same thing every other campaign does. They try to get dirt on their opponent from fucking people no matter where they are. In fact, Hillary Clinton got dirt on Donald Trump from inside the Kremlin that she paid for. So we fucking know that bullshit, which is why this... Well, here's the big story. So here's the WikiLeaks. Now, Nora, you sent me an email asking me about this. Like, what the fuck's up with Julian Assange? She was upset. I was upset too until I looked into it. So here's the emails. This is from WikiLeaks. Hey, a PAC-run anti-Trump site, PutinTrump.org, is about to launch. They're sending this to Donald Trump Jr. The PAC is a recycled pro-Iraq war PAC. We have guessed the password. It is Putin Trump. See about for who is behind it. So they figured out the passcode to this stupid fucking think tank. And this guy, and Trump Jr. says, off the record, I don't know who that is, but I'll ask around. Thanks. They come back, hey, hi, it'd be great if you guys could comment on or push this story. The story was Hillary Clinton on Assange. Can't we just drone bomb him? That's what Hillary Clinton said. That's the story he wanted to be pushed, meaning Julian Assange wanted that story to be pushed because the former First Lady and former Secretary of State and soon-to-be president said she wants to assassinate a news guy for releasing news that wasn't beneficial to her. That would be like if Nixon said, hey, can't we shoot Daniel Ellsberg? That's the equivalent of what that is. So that's why he wanted him to push that. And according to the Atlantic magazine, this is a big fucking story. Okay, here's the next one. Donald Trump says, already did that earlier today. It's amazing what she can get away with. What's behind this Wednesday leak I keep reading about? He was asking because Roger Stone was tweeting out shit about, hey, there's some stuff coming out tomorrow about Hillary Clinton. And so Donald Trump Jr. was asking Julian Assange, what's that about? What is he talking about? They don't respond. They don't answer him. But a couple days later, they say, hey, Donald, great to see you and your dad talking about our publications. Strongly suggest your dad tweets this link if he mentions us. And then there's a link to a bunch of information they got on, because i.e. you guys can get all your followers digging through the content. So there's all this stuff. Go dig through it, see what you find. There's many great stories there the press are missing, and we're sure some of your followers will find it. So that's, by the way, this is all normal shit. Imagine if that was the New York Times talking to a campaign. Doesn't make, nothing's wrong with that, right? This is WikiLeaks. By the way, we just released Podesta emails part 4. Hey, Don, and they don't respond. Hey, Don, we have an unusual idea. Let us one or more of your father's tax... leak us one or more of your father's tax returns. The benefits are this. Most of the harm has already been done by the New York Times and preempted by your father's tax write-downs. 2, it's possible that any moment they could come out through the most biased source, New York Times, MSNBC, who will distort them into the worst possible light. So they're trying to get the Trump campaign to give them some info that they could publish that's fucking great, right? And they're trying to say whatever they can to Donald Trump Jr. to get him to say it. And that's what that is.
It's like that's something journalists do.
Something journalists would do. That's something journalists would do to get to a source. They get a source to give their information. So it keeps going on. If we publish them, if they publish the tax documents of Donald Trump, it will dramatically improve the perception of our impartiality. This is the real kicker. That means that the vast amount of stuff that we are publishing about Clinton will have much higher impact because it won't be perceived as coming from a pro-Trump, pro-Russian source, which the Clinton campaign is constantly slandering us with. You can email them here. They never responded to that. Here's how The Atlantic covered that email. I'm just going to show you how The Atlantic covered it. The Atlantic said, if we publish them, it will dramatically improve the perception of our impartiality, WikiLeaks explained. That means the vast amount of stuff that we are publishing on Clinton will have much higher impact because it won't be perceived as coming from a pro-Trump, pro-Russian source. And they didn't put the last part of the sentence. Of course. the last part of the sentences, which is what the fucking Clinton campaign keeps slandering us with. That's the important part of the sentence. They leave it out because it makes it look like they're trying to do something nefarious, which they fucking aren't. They're doing exactly what a goddamn news organization is supposed to do, talk to a campaign and get fucking information that they can publish. And so the Atlantic is doing the job of the CIA and the establishment and giving you only a part of the fucking story, which is why people get their news from fucking YouTube.
That bit would have went over great in the ha-has in Nebraska.
Or even in San Diego.
So there we have it. So this is exactly what we're talking about. This is exactly. Oh my God! John Jr. talked to. Oh, what happened? John Jr. talked to WikiLeaks. He's gonna be in prison in a second, and then it comes out. It's just fucking normal shit. It's all normal shit. Oh my God! Donald Trump colluded with people inside the Kremlin to get negative information on Hillary Clinton. Turns out Hillary Clinton colluded with people inside the Kremlin to get negative. So it's the exact same shit. Now you watch the show, so you know that that's bullshit. And here we are. So now I brought this up because Laura was very worried about Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, and she emailed me and she says, "Hey, what the fuck is going on?" And I told you, don't worry, I'll do a video on it and explain it. And here we are doing a video on it. You're in it, and I'm explaining it. Now, what do you think about it now?
I feel much better about it.
Okay.
I mean, I blame Steph and Jim for kind of letting me know what's going on in the world. I was happier before I started reading the news because of this fucking show.
Because of Dore, I can't play with my dogs anymore.
So what do you think about that? I'm going to ask you as the audience. Does anybody... So did you see this story and freak out about it and then not know that the Atlantic cut that part out of the story? And did you actually even read the emails? Because I read the emails, and when I read them, I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. This isn't a story. This is exactly the same bullshit about Donald Trump Jr. meeting with a Kremlin-backed lawyer who's just a fucking lawyer from Russia who had dick anyway. So this is all nothing. And as Edward Snowden has told us, they have every email, they have every text, they have every cell phone call, they have everything. Plus, they have every network. They know whose computers are connected to who's downloading what at every second. And Edward Snowden said if the Russians did that, they would fucking know already and they would release it. Also, Bill Binney said it's bullshit, who was the head NSA hacker, who is the Einstein of the NSA. So again, you know this, you watch the show. I feel like every once in a while I forget I'm talking to you, and I feel like I'm talking to regular people, and I'm not. I'm talking to you because you watch the show, so you know this is bullshit, and you know it's always been bullshit, and here we are in the middle of it. So do you think this is what it felt like in the 50s and during the Red Scare?
Yeah, I mean, Jill Stein, she's a Putin. She had fucking sat at a dinner table with Putin, and now she's part of the Red problem. It's just unbelievable. It is like the 50s.
It
is.
Like
anyone that just... Like, oh, I went to one communist meeting in the 50s, and then I'm not allowed to write in show business anymore. Like that, how many people did that happen to?
So when do we get to, let me ask the panel this, when do we get to that moment where somebody says, have you no decency, sir? Have you no decency? Because that's what happened, and that's what stopped that McCarthyism and shit. Somebody finally said to him, have you no decency?
Who was that again?
I don't know who the fuck that was, but I saw it a million times. You've all seen it. We all know that moment. I don't know who that guy was.
Good night and good luck. I remember the movie title.
I remember the movie.
Yeah, it's a good fucking movie. Yeah.
So when do we get to that point? When does someone on the left stand up to the left and say, fucking have you no decency, Rachel Maddow, Chris Hayes, Joyanne Reed, Jake fucking Tapper? When are you gonna start telling the truth?
I see us having a fractionalized multiple city civil war that's just going to deteriorate the entire country.
We can only hope, Graham. We can only hope. Here's what the Atlantic actually concluded from that article. They go, the message exchange with WikiLeaks adds a second instance in which Trump Jr. appears eager to obtain damaging information about Hillary Clinton despite its providence. Why would you use a word like providence unless you're trying to fucking bullshit people? That's what that is. That is smarty pants writers pushing propaganda so they can get a fucking promotion at their bullshit news organization by pushing Red Scare McCarthyism propaganda. That's
Providence
what the-
only matters when you're buying an antique, by the way.
Yes, thank you. Providence only matters when you're buying an
What's the
antique.
profit?